1.5 years. But why we are having this session today is that what I would want to do, or what I would at least want to do, is that I would want to tell you that, probably you should not fret about this time as the time you have lost, but rather you should look at this as an opportunity. The very first thing that UPSC tests in a candidate through its entire and very rigorous process, especially in the personality test, is whether the candidate is suitable to become a bureaucrat, is suitable to become a civil servant. And believe you me, this pandemic is kind of testing the issues and is kind of testing the parameters that you would be later ranked on when you join as a civil servant. I would just give an example. See, what are the things you are being tested upon right now? Your patience is being tested. Patience is one very key criteria, is one very key parameter that all bureaucrats, all civil servants, including me, when we come on the other side, we have to keep. Whether be it executing any task, whether be it taking care of our staff, whether be it extracting work from our staff, from our superiors, be it regarding our transfers, our postings. Patience becomes a very long process throughout our career, and if you are able to build on that, if you're not reacting in an impatient way, you're able to get resilient in the process. I think it is helping you become a better bureaucrat in the future. The other thing is your tolerance level. I know, your tolerance also gets tested sometimes. It gets very frustrating sitting at home all day long, studying, reading books, reading online, then again getting up, taking a mini break, getting back to it. But again, tolerance is also something that you as a future administrator will have to be very used to, because you will have different factions of society coming to you when you will be sitting on the chair for their particular demands. There will be different kind of demands that people will put forward, and you, in your limited resources and time, will have to resolve all of that. So again, this pandemic has tested you as aspirants, you as candidates, in this tolerance aspect also. The final and the most important thing that I feel as bureaucrat one should have is that of empathy. And I think this pandemic has definitely brought out the human side of all of us. It has at least increased the human side of all of us. I mean, the tragedy that had befallen the country, that had befallen our citizens, the number of lives that were lost, and the number of families that got affected due to the pandemic, it has that is something that is that can never be brought back, and it is very unfortunate that such a thing happened. But I think, in this also, if we become more empathetic towards the situations that we particularly are not, that did not befall us, but if we start caring about other people who had to go through this, if we are participating in any kind of voluntary activity, if we are lending out, be it, giving out your blood where it is required, or like, helping people get in contact with the get in contact with the hospitals or with the clinics wherein people are looking for a certain kind of facility. I think you as future administrators would build on these trends very beautifully during this journey, and I hope that some of you would have definitely helped others during this period as well. And then, like, these are the things that probably, I know it is difficult to fathom that, this is the bright side of the pandemic, but I think we should always try to look as administrators at as half glass full. And this is what I would tell you guys also, that I understand it has been pretty long, pretty frustrating, and there's no complete solution per se that has arrived other than the vaccination that is going on. And I hope that the 9,500 odd people that I'm speaking to right now, all of you have been vaccinated at least with the first dose. So, like, at least you have contributed to the nation building and to the resilience of the nation in your small way by getting you and your families vaccinated. So I think this was just the first part of my talk that I wanted to give you a brief about. That, keep your spirits high. I know it is easier said than done, But as they all say that this too shall pass, and this already has passed two waves. And I hope that if people are careful and people do not throw away their masks and are showing COVID appropriate behavior and are getting well vaccinated, we can see better times to come in the near future. So with this, I would move on to the second segment of my talk. That is how to add some color to your preparation. Because I know that sitting home can be frustrating for a very long period, wherein you are not even meeting your colleagues and your friends, so that you can discuss these issues that you are going through. But I think we all, or at least some most of us, will be having our family members around, will be having our close relatives around, will be having internet. All of us would be having internet with us. So I think that has turned into a boon this time, and how to best utilize it, and what are some of the essential things that you should be doing for UPSC. And in addition to that, what are some of the things that you can do to add color or add some kind of spice to your preparation that can help your spirits keep up, and can help you in the long run as well. So I'll be talking about that, and I will not extend it too long so that we can start having Q&A sessions, as Kaushik has mentioned. So the very first aspect is that of the essentials. Now, in the essentials, there are 4 or 5 things that you should always be taking care of, because of the timelines that are uncertain. But right now, we are sticking to the timeline that October 10th will be your prelims examination. So from there, we are having around 3-4 months left. So how you can best utilize that time period, and what are some of the things that even the people who are not writing exam this year, but maybe in for them, some of these tips can come in handy. So the very first thing is you to ensure that you have a targeted timetable with you. Now, what I mean by a targeted timetable is that you would have definitely drawn some kind of timetable for you when you would have started off the preparation, but then you tend to go haywire somewhere in between, because maybe you get distracted because of some external factors. Maybe you are not able to keep up with the timelines that you have made for yourself. So try to keep weekly and monthly targets rather than daily targets when you are making your timetables. And after every week, try to go back to your timetable and see what percentage of that timetable you have been able to achieve. You're going to split your timetable into 3 aspects. You are going to see the newspaper reading and the online reading that you will be doing. That will be one aspect of it. The other will be the testing that you will be doing, be it for prelims, be it for mains answer writing, or whatever test you are appearing for. And then the third will be your analysis part. Whatever tests you have given, how well you are analyzing it. Are you going over through the errors that you are making again and again? And finally, taking care of your optionals. So these 3-4 aspects will broadly make your 1 week's timetable. Now it is up to you that whether you want to keep 2 of these components weekly, whether you want to do all 4 of these components weekly. But yes, there is one thing that you will be having to do daily, that is a newspaper reading, as well as referring to some kind of online resource if you're not able to keep up with the newspaper. So this is something that will go without fail daily. And as the prelims is approaching, and now you should get into the mode of writing full length tests. If not up till now, you should start that process by the end of this month. So this is the first aspect. The second idea was that you will have to ensure whatever timetable you are making, you have to go get back to it you are sticking to. And you would be successful if you are sticking to at least 80% of the timetable that you have made. What is left, you re-revise that timetable for the next week, for the next month. You do that and stick it on your wallpaper, or stick it on your board, so that you keep track of your progress. Then this is regarding the essentials. The other aspect, since the conversation is about preparation during pandemic, I would want to stress very importantly on keeping on taking care of your physical health, because if you are physically fit, you will be mentally fit, and only when you are physically and mentally fit, you will be able to focus for at least 6 hours of study. So for being physically fit, I know it goes without saying, but any kind of physical exercise, at least for half an hour to 1 hour, is what you will have to give daily for your physical fitness. Now, it can simply be walking, it can be some kind of exercise, it can be like using the treadmill if you have that at home. It can be doing any kind of meditation exercise, listening to a lot of these meditation videos that are available even on YouTube. Even I had used these when I was doing my preparation, and even now when the pandemic is going on, and and then there is yoga. So depending on whatever gives your mind relaxation, whatever given gives your body some kind of relief, definitely take out half an hour to 1 hour of that time for this. Why I am emphasizing on this is because when there was the normal time, when it was not the pandemic times, it was, you would be engaging in some kind of physical activity at least when you would be stepping out of home. But right now you are just sitting home, or you have reduced your physical movement. So for that, this kind of physical exercise is necessary to keep you mentally and physically fit. So please, do not think, "Yare, ek baar UPSC ho jayega, then I will work out and then I'll make myself very fit." All that will. So this is not into making you more beautiful in terms of physical fitness or something. This is just to ensure that you are healthy, you're not falling sick, you are taking care of your diet. And yes, with related to physical fitness is also that you take care of your diet, because yes, when you are home and when you're not moving out much, we tend to go on the wrong side of our dietary preferences. So have some of those cheat days, but definitely ensure that more or less you are having your daily dose of proteins, and you're having your daily dose of your essential minerals, vitamins, and whatever your family members and your mothers are telling you to do listen to them, because trust me, that really helps when you are sitting home and preparing for the examination. Then, other than this, because see, what we are looking at is, if most of us are sitting home 24 hours, out of that, take out the 12 hours into sleeping, eating, relaxing, and so on and so forth. Take out the 6 to 8 hours that you are putting in for your studies, and take out the half an hour to 1 hour that you are doing in for your physical fitness. Other than that, you will still have remaining 1 to 2 hours that you can devote productively, either to yourself. Basically, this time is devoting to yourself. Now, how do you do that? You either pick up some kind of constructive hobby for yourself. Now, that hobby can be anything, be it blogging, be it writing, be it be it public speaking, be it involving yourself in any kind of online discussion and building on your communication skills, or any hobby that you like, including poetry or mimicry, anything that is adding a certain facet to your personality, and take out time for that also. Because why I'm saying is that that me time, this is the kind of me time that you would give, that would help you improve in your personality test as well. I mean, I have always emphasized in any of the talks that I have given, is that the as in the written examination, the mains and the prelims, you have a plethora of material available online, and you have plethora of guidance also available online by all IAS top by many IAS toppers. But what I have often seen is that people do not focus much on the personality development and the personality interview aspect. And that is why in all the talks that I give, I always focus on this aspect, that do not wait for you to clear the prelims examination, that personality will be taken care of in the end. If you are taking care of it during your preparation time, believe you me, you are going to emerge as a very clear winner in the personality test. And when it comes to ranks, when it comes to services, the interview becomes the most important aspect. So that is why whenever I am talking to youngsters like you, I emphasize that not just the studies that you are doing is important, but also giving yourself that kind of extra half an hour, 1 hour, in which you are building on your communication skills, in which you are building on your analytical skills, your logical skills, your balance of judgment. If you involve any kind of such productive hobby or activity. So please do look up at this aspect also. Uh, One thing that I would want to add on regarding communication skills building is that I'm pretty sure many of you would be referring to Rajya Sabha TV, The Big Picture, India and the World, etc. Now these are very effective. These are very effective conversations that add, analysis to your understanding, and that adds perspectives to your understanding. In addition to this, always try to understand how the speakers, how the presenters, how the news anchor is conducting the conversation. Because, that is the kind of balance, and that is the kind of voice modulation, that is the kind of pace at which you will have to communicate in future with people, with public, with politicians, with your bosses, with your juniors. You will have to have that balance whenever you are doing a communication as a public servant. You cannot be very emotional, you cannot be very emotive about anything. Yes, you may feel strongly about a certain issue, but that should not be reflected in your general conversation. So always remember that, only if you start picking up these things while watching news, while watching these news anchors. I would not be talking about all the news anchors, but at least when it comes to Rajya Sabha TV, you would see that is the kind of balance that you would need in your personality also and in your communication also, so that it helps you in your future working as an administrator as well. So, so basically, these are the things that I wanted to highlight in adding some color to your preparation. And now I would open the floor. I would ask Kaushik to put forth the questions that many of the people are have been putting in, so that I could help them in their questions. And well, yes, I think we can start. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for providing valuable insights. And it's quite awe-inspiring for everyone who is present in the session. And also, thanks for imparting your treasure house of knowledge in all of us. So now I'd like to call upon Nikita Singh, the head of Unriddle UPSC, to ask and take questions from audience.
Good evening, everyone present over here. Am I audible?
Yeah, Nikita, you're audible.
So I'm here to ask some questions on behalf of the aspirants. I'll start with the questions. In the meantime, everyone is requested to type their questions in the chat box. Sir, the first question is, often aspirants feel demotivated and unable to study in a family environment due to the frequent taunts and advice they get from every family member they have. What should their stance be in such a situation?
Okay. So I think, the person who has put forward this question, the first thing that I would want to say is that, brother or sister, you are not alone in this. I think all of us have faced this situation while we were preparing for the examination. I can give you my own personal example because, as Kaushik had introduced my background as well, I did my graduation from Stephens. Then I did my MBA. I worked in the corporate. Then finally I left my job. So during the 6-7 months of my preparation that I had to sit home, I was bombarded with the same level of taunts and the same level of queries by a lot of inquisitive relatives as well as family, friends, and so on and so forth. But what I would say from my personal experience is that whatever other people are going to tell you or going to put forward towards you, just remember the only people that should matter to you in your lives is you yourself and your parents and your siblings if you have them. And believe me, if you are preparing for UPSC, there will never be a time when your parents are going to demotivate you or they're not going to support you in your stance. So just remember that this is not an examination that you are going to prove other people. Remember that you are not here to prove anyone. And at the end, UPSC is also just an examination. If not UPSC, you will be doing very well in any other service or any other vocation that you choose to as a plan B, if at all that situation comes. So keep your head held high. Remember that your immediate family, your parents are never going to leave your side, and you are giving one serious shot or two serious shots to this examination. You are not wasting your youth in this, and you are not going to get bothered by what other people are going to say, because let them say, because this is what this is how unfortunately the world works. Because when you are successful, people would be running behind you, but if God forbid something happens, people, those will be the same people who will be first coming and taunting you. So let those taunts be just treated as something that is very negative coming out from themselves, from their own personal failures, and you should forgive them if they are getting to taunt you. You should just forgive them, and that is the kind of mental stealing that I had talked about in my talk as well. If you're doing that mental exercise, you're doing some kind of meditation, self-talk, talking with your immediate family or your very close friends, you can keep your spirits high, and you should keep your spirits high.
Thank you, sir. We will move on to the next question. Most of the coaching centers are unreliable at this juncture as the government imposes lockdowns. The coaching centers too are remaining closed. It's a waste of essential time required by an aspirant that has decided upon a chosen time frame. What should such aspirants do in such a situation?
See, again, this is something that I tried to cover in my talk as well, because the uncertainties do include this aspect also, that the timeline that the coaching centers give you, obviously that has also gone haywire. And that is why when I started talking about essentials in your preparation, I talked about the timetable aspect. So I think all of us right now know where we stand, whether our prelims preparation is on track, whether our mains preparation is on track, whether our optionals are being prepared or not, whether we are writing tests or not. We, all of us, are mature enough to analyze that where we are right now. So based on that evaluation, the safest thing that you should do is rely on your own timetable that you will be making. The broad timelines that you have right now, the assumption is that if you are a candidate of this year, then you know that you have 3.5 months left for your prelims preparation, and another 5 months, and another 2 months, 3 months from them for your mains preparation. So keeping that timeline in you, you will have to re-revise the timetable in your own way. And believe you me, do not rely on coaching schedules right now, because they give a schedule that they are making basis a 1 year program or a 6 month program that they are offering. But right now you have already gathered some kind of knowledge in the process. During pandemic, you have already experienced writing tests, solving tests. You know your strengths and weaknesses. So you will have to make your own timetable based on your strengths, your weaknesses, and ensuring that a daily component is dedicated to answer writing and newspaper reading. So these two components you have to ensure daily. And other than this, the revision plan that you are making, try to make those weekly and monthly timetables and stick to that, and focus on tests from now on.
Thank you, sir. There are many questions of students from first year asking if they should start their preparation. So what would you like to tell them, sir?
See, for first year students, I would say one thing, that if you are interested in civil services, that is a very good thing, but you are having time in your hand, so you should not restrict yourself to only one vocation right now. You should explore the different careers. You should explore the different career opportunities that will definitely come your way, and civil services should be a part of it. Now, what are the basic things that you can do for preparing for civil services that will come in handy even if you do not write the exam after 2 years? One is the personality building part that I had spoken about. So this is the time when you are extensively participating in any kind of college fest activities, because since Hindu College is a partner in today's dialogue. I mean, most of you would be knowing that Delhi colleges, DU colleges, are very famous for organizing fests and for having these online. This time, definitely there will be online competitions. But participate as much as you can in these things. They are going to make your experience richer. They are going to hone your managerial skills. They are going to improve your communication skills, and along with that, make sure that you are doing daily newspaper reading. Newspaper reading, either the Indian Express or the Hindu, because because you will have to give at least 3 to 4 months of daily newspaper reading to reach a level of understanding and editorial of the Indian Express or the Hindu. I'm not saying that people cannot do that before 3 to 4 months, but that 3 to 4 months is required at a stretch, because in that period you will have covered broadly 70 to 80% of the UPSC paper 2, paper 3 topics that come in newspapers, be it of child development, women development, NGOs, your parliament, so on, so forth. Whatever issues regarding economy, regarding international affairs, in a good 3 to 4 months period time, that newspaper would have given some kind of insight in the editorial in the newspaper during that period. So make newspaper reading your habit in the first year, and if you are giving that 2 hours to 1 to 2 hours to newspaper reading, 1 to 2 hours to your personality development and participating in extracurriculars, I think you would be good to go. And yes, touching upon the basic NCRTs just to get a refreshment of what you had done in your school days. So I think that would be sufficient for first year students.
Sir, here there's a question which is very specific to you. What are your tips for scoring high in interviews? Given it's a process, as you said, like students are asking if they should engage in extracurricular activities in their college life.
Uh, yes, definitely. I mean, that is what I have been emphasizing throughout. That personality building doesn't come in a day, or doesn't even come in a month's time. Personality building comes over a good period of 2 to 3 years. I have jotted down my interview experience on my blog, that is foodforpoetry.com, as well as given a lot of general strategies and tips on my Quora page. So people can scroll through that, and they can get an entire picture of the tips that I have given for preparing for the interview. In addition to that, you had mentioned that should we be going in for extracurricular activities? Well, yes, definitely, most importantly, because academics is something that all of you guys will be doing anyway. You're not achieving anything extra uh, by writing your examinations, because that is the basic essential that you will be doing. What is adding on to your CV, to your resume, to you as a person coming out of a good college from Delhi, is this, that how much you have participated in activities that you did not have to necessarily, but you chose to. So my recommendation would be that whatever be it, and do not think that unless it is very Shakespearean, or it is very it is just related to communication, I will participate in that. It can be anything. It can be even it can be a painting competition. It can be a photography session. It can be any kind of one up act, anything. But do engage yourself to add some facet to your personality that the other person who will be coming in for the interview would not be having. So definitely go in for extracurriculars.
So, someone has written, in certain aspects like the situational questions or those testing your analytical skills or testing your balance of judgment, there is nothing that can be strictly characterized as right or wrong, and it's more of a personal viewpoint. But often the personal spectrum may not be the one in favor with the person on the other side. So, are there any tips to have a better go on that?
Uh, Yeah, that is a very good question that the person has asked, and I'm pretty impressed by the kind of understanding that that person is having already. That means he or she has started doing the job for personality development already. So yes, that does become a concern sometimes when you feel that you feel strongly about a certain issue, but you're not sure whether the person on the other side would be agreeing with you or not. But believe me, UPSC is much more than what we think it is, and it is going to ensure the balance of judgment will be tested irrespective of the person's perspective sitting on the other side of the table. So, if you are feeling strongly about anything, just make sure that you give a balanced view after that. Even if you are saying that yes, I do agree or I feel about this issue in a certain way, but there should always be a interjection in which you are analyzing the other viewpoint and you are telling the interviewer that yes, I'm aware of the others I'm aware of others' viewpoint. I'm tolerant towards other viewpoint, but this is what I believe in. And believe you me, you will not be penalized for this because you are very clearly asserting yourself as an administrator and as a communicator, and no one is going to penalize you for your viewpoint. And so I think that is how you will have to conduct yourself in that particular situation.
Thank you, sir. Many aspirants are having problem in concentrating in online classes. So they are asking if how to maintain the continuity and have gaps in between.
Uh, See, online classes, if I mean, see, this is something that I have personally not experienced. So it would, in fact, in my case, I have not done coaching also. So I would not be able to really give you a very clear cut, answer on this. But my understanding is that, if you are getting bored or if you are getting frustrated by the process of doing the online classes for these coaching day in day out, then choose wisely. Attend those topics in which you feel you do not have a background at all, and the topics or the subjects which you feel that you will be able to manage by going through the study material or by going through any kind of online videos available on YouTube and etc. I think you can skip some of that. There is always an option of I think most of the coaching institutes would also be recording these videos which you can access later on, so you can look it up at a later stage. You can fast forward, you can watch the video in between so that you just get a broad idea of what the instructor was telling you about. But but do not think that if you miss a class or two in between, you're going to miss something very essential, because this is again an ongoing process. Probably if you're catching even 70%, 80% of what the instructor is telling you, it will be good to go, provided you are doing your own study. You have done your own analysis of all the syllabus that GS paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4 are talking about, and you can cover it up at your own level also. But do not get bogged by the process of attending online classes, because if you get in that mode, then you will not be able to enjoy any of the classes in future.
Sir, since you have not joined any coaching center while you were preparing, someone has asked how to evaluate your answers if we do not have any mentor around us.
See, I had not joined coaching, but I had definitely joined coaching test series. So my evaluation aspect was taken care of by the mains test series that I had joined from Vision IS, and the prelims test series. I had taken two test series, that was Insights as well as Vision IS. So that is how I used to get myself evaluated. I had written around 4 to 5 tests, mains tests from Vision, and I had which I had submitted to the coaching institute. And the other 3 or 4 that I had wrote, I had written and I had done a self-evaluation basis the answer sheet, that they give of the model answers. And then you will definitely be having someone at your home. Like in my case, I had referred to my father regarding giving me some idea about how well I'm writing my answers. You can have any of your professors or your friends or even your siblings, your parents, anyone you feel who can help you evaluate in this, you can refer to them as well. But I think it is always a good idea that you do refer to some coaching test, at least online, so that you get an idea of where you are standing among all the people who are going to write the exam.
Thank you, sir. I think that was it. Most of the questions
Thank
are
you.
similar. I would like to give the vote of thanks. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of EdNeta. I would like to thank our guest speaker for this session, Aishwarya Raj sir, for honoring our session with his brilliant insight on the topic. I would like to thank Bunyad, the Civil Services Society of the Hindu College, for collaborating with us and helping us in making this event a huge success. I would also like to thank Khushbu Faujdar and Pooja, President and Acting President of EDNETA, for their relentless effort to bring these sessions and materials to the people who really need it. And we appreciate the efforts of each and every person in EDNETA who made this event a huge success. Thank you. For all those who missed this session, the minutes of the session will be put up on our blog site, ednetango.blogspot.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much.